Hello, this is Sandra May Carr-Moore, and I thought to share about what it is to live in today's economy. The governments of the world have been trying to use the same type of system in principle, if not in real, so that transactions that have to be across borders would be as simple as possible so that we focus on the safety of the money and not so much on the bureaucracy of the processes. So in Jamaica Island, where I'm from, we are told in school that we should grow up, get a job, try and find a lifetime partner, and work towards getting your food, clothing, shelter, water, not only for your work life or through the period when you are you can work, which is up to 65 here, but afterwards when you are retired and separated from your job, if you're lucky enough to get a consistent job, or even if you have jobs that are part-time or on and off, the system has a way for you to save for your pension. So there are minimum wages and benefits and so forth, compensation packages and such. So it depends on how qualified you are. There are qualifications, specific qualifications. And I see a lot of the first world countries have gone away from using qualifications. They go towards more attitude and aptitude rather than qualifications. But in Jamaica, we still go towards qualification, because what we do is to have the universities align with the levels of the universities, the organizations align with the levels of the universities, and then the universities can use the requirements for the positions in general, in a generalistic industry type format, to prepare the students to come out with a bachelor's degree that will give them the opportunity to work on internship level and then be trained by the organization for the specificity of the organizational demands. So that much being said, I gave that background because I wanted to let the world understand that we all are different, and we have different needs, and we also have different likes for entertainment, different likes for just how we generally want to live our lives, the things that we want to be in our homes, the property that we want to live, the place we want to live, and all of those things. And we have family members who are more, we can contribute to each other, one based on, because you do a needs assessment and you also do an assessment to see what your high skills are. So I'm not so sure what is happening with a number of other families, but I know with my family I have been working very hard, because I am 6'1" at this age, and I've always been big for my age. So because of that, I needed a lot more food and a lot more, a bigger space, bigger furniture, bigger everything. And I realized that from a very young age, and so I focused from probably about infant school, primary school. I started focusing on studies and on books, and because I was that type of person, I love studying, I love learning and stuff, and I love medicine, and I had to go along the path. If you can see my CV on LinkedIn, I had to go along the path of the availability of the positions and hence the funds. So, and I had to make a decision that if it comes to the point where I have to choose about eating a meal versus building a career in medicine, then I have to choose eating a meal. But it was not only my decision, it was a decision of all of the persons involved in the processes. For recruitment, for training, for education, for support on a community level. You have a family and you have the assistants to look after the children, to get the funds to do everything that is necessary. And I look back now and I am saying, girl, you did so many things during those years. And I don't feel like a failure. I feel like I wonder on some soft level what it would be like if I had chosen to go after that job, getting contacts and going after that job that would give me that high position or that high pay, to look after my family and myself, versus what I did was to go to school to try and do without and strategize to pay my school fees to get the bachelor's degree and then the master's degree so that I could qualify for the job, to get the job to help to look after the family. So it's not as simple as within certain governmental agencies of the different world countries, where they probably don't have to do it like that, or they probably go through the same processes, but they have different opportunities and different options. I am not a person of patience. I am not a person that likes instability, and so I went after the 9-to-5 job, the opportunities to have a 9-to-5 to go in to get a consistent salary at the end of the month. And when it became the risk of death of myself or my family, then I decided to try and see if I can just rest for a minute. So I separated about 2 times from the government. So I don't think I'm that popular because of that. I separated about 2 times from the government and once from a private sector organization, for the major set of persons. Everything else was basically a temporary position that they decided to give, and for this date to that date. And in that case, I had to be careful that I am not seen or even perceived as a bully, because there are persons who would, because of my size and my general stature and the voice that I command or use, I had to adjust it so that I didn't, have person in fear that I would do stuff. I had to use languages, I had to use body language. I had to do all manner of things to cause persons not to feel threatened by my presence or by my stance. I hear that I'm, uncompromising and all of those things. So it kind of all went south, where they started to behave afraid, and I was not sure as to why everybody started to behave afraid. My son had just passed. He developed asthma I was working with Jamaica Customs Department at the time, now agency, and I got, I just got the fear of God in me, and I tried to do everything to see if I could get some money right away. And I waited maybe 3-4 weeks, like a month, before I decided to move after doing the line officers training. And of course that didn't go over well, because I still hear about it in the grapevines. And then when I got to Janac, I completed my bachelor's degree, because I started the bachelor's degree at Jamaica Customs, and then I completed at Janac. And then I waited, I completed in 2009, and I resigned because I didn't believe they would give me a no-pay leave. I resigned in 2013. And so I waited 3+ years to get that promotion, aligning with the bachelor's degree. Secondment, nothing really happened, and then everybody started to get afraid, and things started to happen, and so forth. So I'm doing all of this because I'm thinking that there are a lot of young people out there that I'm perceiving a lot of suicidal behaviors, because once you ruin your reputation in a particular way, I view it as an act of suicide, even if it is not a conscious act of suicide, because you need that reputation in order to get the job in the first place, whether you're qualified or not qualified. You need that reputation to get that job, and if you have a community believing that you are not capable or not able or not worthy of being in a particular position because you're not trustworthy or you're not serious enough, and they will give a whole lot of reasons, but at the end of the day, the truth is we decided that everybody has to work for the money. So we're going to have to find a way, irrespective of what the reasons are and what the concerns are, to ensure that all persons within the age that it is legal to work have an opportunity to earn, to look after themselves, or we're just setting up ourselves for a set of criminals to be about and to be messing with everyone. It's one thing to be a criminal because you're in need. It's another thing to be a criminal because you're in greed. So we have to work on all of these things, and there is a serious attack on freedom of speech, and I've done a whole lot of things, and I'm still here. I'm still here in a position where I'm having to be strategic to ensure that I remain viable as a person to be recruited, and also strategic to ensure that I manage and micromanage the issues and that are being raised, to ensure that my children and grandchildren and the lives of the children of the other persons in the community, locally and overseas, are not negatively impacted. They need to see the end result of what you're telling them now in the schools. They need to see what it is that is going to happen 20 odd years afterwards. So if I take all of my money that I could be going out and partying with and having fun and having the latest and doing my titivation and doing my makeup and all of that, if I take all of my monies and put it into school, what happens afterwards? And then they've been showing them. So I haven't been hiding, but I haven't been publicizing on an employment level and employability level. I've been publicizing on the attainment of the knowledge and the abilities that I've gained as a result of the education, so that they're able to know that even if your education does not serve you to help others in employment, it can serve you to help yourself, so you don't have to employ anyone with your personal business, doing your own taxes if it becomes relevant, doing your own applying for a loan, applying for a motor vehicle, applying for a visa, applying for a job. Your education can assist you. It is recommended that you go up to high school, because what they do from the earliest years of school up to high school is to teach you how to go about looking after your own personal finances, and henceforth you can use that knowledge to assist persons who have their businesses because they generally train you and give you orientation and all of those things. So I don't know what has come across, but I'm trying to let you all know that the realities are the realities, and we watch the movies and we see all of the examples of how we can live our lives. But at the end of the day, you have to believe on your own abilities, you have to believe on the system, you have to believe on God's contribution, and you have to believe that even if they appear to not to care, the law will get to them, because the wages of sin is death and crime does not pay. That's what we tell ourselves in Jamaica, because if you sow on corn, you will reap on corn. So continue to do what it is that the system tells you to do. The laws of Jamaica are available online. You can Google. Continue to read on every activity that you're about to participate in, and ensure that you're following the law as much as possible, because it is a guide, and it is a strong requirement and a strong recommendation for safety and for betterment, not only for yourselves but also for your families and for the communities and the country on a whole. Follow all of the laws. Do as it says. Sow on your corn, because corn can be cornstarch, corn can be all manner of things, cornmeal, corn can be so many things that you wouldn't even believe it. So sow on the good in your life all the time. Sow on what it is that you love, and never give up. Take breaks, spend time entertaining yourself. Don't wait until you get to a particular stage, or you get to a particular activity or accomplishment before you have fun. Squeeze the fun in there, and so when you get to that place, you say, yes, I can have a little more fun because I've completed that purchase and that activity. So do your best, and believe me, I'm here. If you want to speak, if you want to talk, you can message. I'm not a big fan of videos. I've been very wounded by the environment. My face is swollen most of the time and bruised and battered from the environment, and I've been inside a lot, so I have high expenses. In order to go outside, I have to be driving, because if I'm having these experiences inside, then I would also be having those same experiences when I go out, and maybe to a greater magnitude. So be safe, look after yourself, and God bless.